Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Elizabeth from Wyld Wynd. And Wyld Wynd, we promote and support nonprofits and community efforts throughout Tulare County. And we just really want to make sure that everybody has a good foundation and funding opportunities and resources to get those mission-minded individuals out there and on their feet, and just make sure that everybody has what they need, regardless if it is that nonprofit or the people that they serve. That is what Wyld Wynd is here for, to take all that good hardness and get it out there, because a lot of times nonprofits have trouble doing that. They have they have their mission and they want to do this, but then I come in on the backside as a cheerleader and go, okay, we need to get this done. We need to get this done. This is how we build a website. This is how we write a mission. This is just kind of guidance as far as that goes. So that's what Wyld Wynd does. I know I don't share myself enough. I tend to put everybody else's information out there. So I'm trying to get a little bit better. On that note, I want to introduce my friend Vicky Cervantes. And we met years ago through Girl Scouts. So Vicky, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move on with our other topics.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole. And Nicole, I have to say, since you launched this platform, it's just great to see your passion for everything in our community. And again, like you said, that cheerleader is always needed. And you just speak volumes for efforts in our community. And so I want to tell you, you're doing a wonderful job, and continue to strive for excellence, and things will fall into place, right? I mean, that's typically how everything works. Mostly, right? Follow your passion. Follow your passion. So, hi everyone. I'm Vicky Cervantes, and I met Nicole years ago, and she's a delightful person. So it's my pleasure to be here today to share a little bit about myself. So I am homegrown here in Porterville, born and raised, and I went through the education system here. And in 1995, I fell into the library profession. I was 19 years old, and the profession just grew on me. It just snatched me up. So I continued to work on my education and work in public libraries. And so, gosh, I've been working in public libraries for over 25 years. I have a master's degree in library information science from San Jose State University. And I'm grateful to be here the last, over 13 years as your city librarian. So again, we're just looking towards the future, recovering from our tragic fire, which is probably the most historic fire in the history of Porterville, to my knowledge. And, as a homegrown resident, nothing hits you more closely to your heart than the fallen heroes that lost their lives. So again, the community is healing, and through this process, we're very excited to be able to continue to work for the city. So many of you might be aware or not aware that the library staff was able to maintain employment, and we were busy taking donations in for quite a bit of time before the COVID pandemic hit. And so we received just truckloads and truckloads of materials from the time of the fire until middle of March. And so staff's been going through those materials diligently. And so we did have a place to land. The city owns a facility on the corner of Main Street and Thurman called Centennial Plaza. It's right next to the park. So we were able to operate the book donation piece of it downstairs at the vacated restaurant that was downstairs on the first floor. And then in 2016, we actually opened up an adult learning center on the second floor. And so this adult learning center is about 1,600 square feet. And if Nicole's ready, I would love to take you on a tour of the space and then tell you a little bit more about the services that were provided pre-COVID in this space. But before I get started, I do have to tell you that we had a longtime library volunteer who lives in Camp Nelson, who taught or continues to teach actually for us, our ESL and citizenship classes. So Miss Polly would come down 4 days a week from Camp Nelson, and her headquarters was at the Central Library. So all of her training materials, all her teaching materials, she is a retired teacher. Miss Polly's 81 1 year old. And so Miss Polly's just driven to help others. And so we've been working with Miss Polly for about 3, maybe 4 years now. And so right after the fire, Miss Polly contacted me and said, "Hey, Vicky, my students are ready to get back at it. And if at all possible, could we find a space to continue, teaching them?" And I said, "Miss Polly, I will do everything in my power to set that up for you." So we set up in our adult learning center, we set up some task tables. And I'll show you in a minute these task tables where the students were able to come in a week after the fire. They were here and the table was full of students fulfilling their dreams and goals for a better future. And so just to see Miss Polly back at it and watching her students, just make sure librarian heart just so big. And so we were very happy to be able to help Miss Polly pull things together, as well as Miss Polly was displaced in the Sequoia fire, the complex fire, right? So Camp Nelson was evacuated. She was away from her home for about 3 weeks. Miss Polly had adapted after the COVID pandemic, stay-at-home orders. She had adapted to learning Zoom on her own and other methods to continue to teach her students who did have access to technology. And so that's the part that's a little hard. Her class changed a little bit because not everybody has access. However, she continues to teach. She does continue to take in students, again, in this virtual capacity. And I'll tell you a little bit more about her program in a short while, but I definitely want to be Miss Polly when I grow up, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to start from the outside in, just so you know where in Porterville downtown pocket that we're located. So there is SJVC College. We're on the second floor of the brown building. It's a 2-story brown building. And here we are. You can see our door. We have a nice little window so you can see if someone's home. We have a little information, little hub sharing information on our community. The space is the space is 1,600 square feet. It's got storage. Those are the task tables I told you we pushed together for Miss Polly's class. We have 3 study rooms, for tutoring pairs.
That is fantastic. I love that.
And this is where we record our story times. Our virtual story times are recorded here.
Yes, I see that. That I can recognize that.
Right. And so we have, again, we have lots of natural light. It's 3 quiet study rooms. And we moved over here in 2016. The Adult Learning Center is what we call this location. We have resources and staff offices right back in there.
Got it.
So that is where we landed. I landed in one of the study rooms as a makeshift office temporarily. And then we are currently, because we are not serving the public currently physically yet. We are currently using the other 2 study spaces for storage, like storage for our summer reading materials, storage for a lot of other things. So very excited about moving forward, of course, and planning for our next chapter. So is this a good time do you want to interact with any questions? Or
actually, I do have one question because I love our city library, but you guys are like one of my favorite people. Mostly because I like the smell of books. So, and nobody, don't laugh at me for saying that, but I love holding books, and reading them, of course. But is there anything like coming out from the library over the summer that anybody should be paying attention to or looking for?
Well, so you might remember, I don't know, Nicole, I don't know if you were born and raised here, but even if you weren't, if you were somewhere else, there was always
I don't know if I froze or Vicky froze.
Oh, you froze on my end. Can you hear me? Hello, Nicole? Nicole, are you there?
Okay.
Okay, great.
We're back.
Wonderful.
Let's make sure we're back on Facebook also.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Is this just happening as your guest, or has it happened before?
It hasn't happened before, so I don't know.
Oh.
But I was just sitting there waiting to see what happens. So
maybe we just have so many on right now that we're disrupted. But I love your question about summer reading or summer activities. And so you know, certainly last year, right after the kids got out of school in June, we did get calls from parents asking us if we had anything planned as far as activities, because we were known for having activities Monday through Sunday at different hours of the day, something that parents could plug in to do family activities, or they could come in and the parents could, you know, take the child up to the community room and they could go and get whatever they needed downstairs. And so we were certainly called upon for again that need and desire to keep the children active during the summer. So this summer we actually are going to do a virtual story time program, and we're just now getting all the prizes that have arrived from the vendor that provides that for us. And the summer reading program has been around, I think, nearly like 90 years, maybe even 100 years, possibly. It's hard to remember sometimes, but it's got quite a history that, again, the California Library Association has always striven to keep children engaged in reading. And then more importantly, we like to include everyone, including the adults. So we will continue to do that this summer. So I don't know if you could see my little flyer, but this is the summer reading. Reading colors your world, and then that's the Spanish translation. So there's always a theme. Oh God, there's always a theme involved, and so my staff gets very excited in planning the activities that go along with that. So we're hoping that, of course, if oh, Nicole, you froze again. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay,
okay.
Great. All right. This is fun, though. This is keeping it exciting.
I went and pulled out all the Wi-Fi extenders out around the house because I'm scared somebody else is sucking up my internet. Sorry, guys. Yes. So sorry. Okay.
So we are very, okay. We are all very excited. My staff does get excited planning out the activities. The activities will definitely look different, of course, than in years past because we don't have a facility to serve you currently, but we are working on that. But so this will be a virtual summer reading program for all ages, open to all ages, and we have some great prizes planned, and we will hopefully be back on our feet next summer in full capacity, so to speak.
Super excited for that, and for my kids, because I know that it's something they look forward to.
Wonderful. So can we backtrack a little bit about the Adult Learning Center?
Yes.
So the Adult Learning Center is basically our adult literacy program that was started here in Porterville in 1999. Originally, it was housed at the Stout building, which is across from the fire department on the corner of Cleveland and Hockett Street, right next to the Spencer House, so to speak, right in that vicinity. And so the program ran out of that location for several years. And then it, as funding started to go down with state library support, then the program was moved into the headquarter library at 41 West Thurman. So when the city asked the library to consider moving over here when the Centennial Plaza building was purchased in 2014. It made sense that we would bring our adult literacy services over instead of splitting up user service, so to speak. And so, so we've been here since 2016. Not only are we providing the adult literacy needs, this is also a spot for anybody in college who's working on a paper or something, and they don't want that busy community library feel, and they just want to get dialed in and get their goals met. This is also a place where they could come. The operational days of the week before COVID were Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. And so definitely when we're back on our feet, we would love to have you come on by and utilize the space to your needs. Ms. Polly was teaching ESL and citizenship classes here after the fire. And so her program is set up. She's very strict in the sense that in her curriculum, she knows what she wants to do, what she wants to accomplish. But she is so flexible to the needs of her students, is just remarkable. And she has any background from Arabic to Spanish speaking to Portuguese, you name it. Like she has passed, I think, over 20 people in their citizenship class. I mean, in achieving their citizenship, she has had a lot of success. So for anyone who may have a family member in need of that service, or they themselves are watching today, the service is absolutely free. Miss Polly is currently teaching that class virtual. We hope she just was recently vaccinated. So hopefully when things start to open up, we can open the doors here for small class sizes as well. But like I said, the services are free to you. It just takes a little bit of time and commitment, so that you can achieve your goals. And definitely, if you would like to know more about that program, you can call our library number at 784-0177. So,
okay, all right. I do have something to say about that. As far as citizenship goes, my Oma came here, and she was here. She married somebody in the Air Force and came over to the United States and had her children here. But it was so important for her to still go through that whole process, so she knew she did it right. And I remember her working so hard for that. And then we went and to her ceremony when I was about 7 or 8 or so, and we got to watch everybody get their citizenship. And it was just such a, like, wow, like, you guys, everybody worked so hard for this. And it was just very gratifying. And I watched her go through all of that. And it just made her, in my eyes, I was like, even as an adult, she's my grandmother, but that was still so important to her. So those people that are out there and having those resources, to me, are huge, because that avenue was there for you, and they're free. And there's people who, like Miss Penny, who are like, hey, we can do this. This is so important. So yeah,
that's a great thing. You gave me goosebumps, like just even describing yourself at 7 years old and having this memory about you said it was your Oma?
Yeah, my Oma. Yeah, this is short for grandmother, or slang for grandmother in German. Oh. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So again, Miss Polly has touched so many lives in in helping them achieve their goals and dreams. And every time someone passes the test, she gives me a call and she's like, I have another one, and she just gets like, that is her like driving force. Like I told you, Miss Polly's in her 80s, and COVID did not slow her down. She kept transitioning to different methods. And again, she's a retired teacher. She did teach in China for about 5 years after she retired, teaching English. And so we're just really blessed to have Miss Polly. And so we can't wait. I can't wait to see her back, in physical form.
Sounds like that. I think that she should come on with you one day, Vicky.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She'd love to. She would love to.
I would
And,
love that.
and I'm sorry I didn't think about it today. She probably would have logged on from Camp Nelson and joined us this morning.
Probably
So,
has better reception there than I do here.
right?
Right?
Yeah, probably. So maybe it's a Saturday thing. It could be here as well. Who knows? But so thank you for letting me share where we all ended up after the fire. And let's see, where would you like to go next? Do you want to go to that little mobile update?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so in March of 2020, we received a state library grant. The city received a state library grant for $60,000 to get a mobile outreach vehicle, which is for early learning services or early literacy services, if you will. And so the vehicle is not ready yet, but it's coming soon. We hope to have it in the next few months, and we're really excited. It'll provide English and Spanish services out to the community with our preschool partners. It will be catered towards 0 to 5 of age, and so it'll just be filled with resources for the caregiver, such as manipulatives and other type of large motor skills materials, as well as like early vocabulary help, like with sight words and all that good stuff. And so staff has been busy ordering the materials for it, and we're very excited to have a service point that will be out and mobile, right, out in the community, driving around. So be on the lookout. I did tell Nicole, I did not tell Nicole when it's ready. We'll give you a good preview of it. Maybe we could even, if I'm able to use my mobile phone, maybe we could even take you for a little ride in it as well. So we can.
I would be so up
Nicole
for that.
and I will get together. Yeah, Nicole and I will get together. Maybe at that point, Nicole will be like right here next to me, and then she'll be my passenger recording. So
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
I would love that too. So so again, things are moving on the temporary location. For those of you who don't subscribe to the newspaper or to even keeping up with the news on social media, we will be moving into the vacated commercial spot between the Dollar Tree and Grocery Outlet right there on D Street and Olive. It's part of for those of you who were born and raised here or came to Porterville at a certain time, it's the old Save Mart building. It's the remaining piece of it. So 8,000 square feet of a temporary library. Staff is working with the architect and planning for that. So some more news to come in the future on that particular end. But if you drive or if you go to the dollar store or grocery outlet, I'm sure some of you have already seen the signs in the window. So that's on the horizon.
I did take some pictures. I'll post them later so everybody can see, because I was so elated to see it. I was like, oh, yay! So yeah, I'll put them out there soon.
Right. Thank you so much. And then just recently in the last month, the Library Facility Planning Committee is meeting. And hopefully, again, in several months, we'll have a report on a needs assessment, a community needs assessment for a new facility. So that is also in the hopper. So be on the lookout. We'll be asking for community participation in focus groups, as well as community surveys. So definitely stay tuned. For those of you who don't subscribe to our library Facebook, please do. Or check our website, in the next couple of weeks. And again, we will try every avenue to connect with you, to hear from you. This is a big project for our community. And so we definitely want to hear from all of you. It's such a big project that, I get calls every now and then, and they're like, well, why don't we have a new building yet? But there's so much there's so much of a process to take and steps to take. So just, you have to be patient, but also it's important for you to be a part of the process as well. So this will be, I like to refer to it because, although I've been in the library business for over 25 years, I like to refer to it as that place that my grandchildren will use. So it's really a huge responsibility on my part as a government employee for the entire community to make that happen. But more so that I think about what will libraries look like when my grandchildren are using it. And so, so again, it's a big legacy project, and we definitely want you to get involved. So, and to hear from you. So we will be getting feedback from all sectors of the community as best we can. And I know Nicole is dialed into all the sectors, so we'll be asking her for help as well. So, and
I'm there. I have a
yes,
quick question
thank
about the
you.
surveys
Thank
though,
you so much.
because
Yes.
A lot of people
Yes.
don't quite understand what surveys actually do and what they mean and like the seriousness of them. I say that because through COVID, a lot of our organizations didn't have the opportunity to go out on foot and communicate to people, which is how we used to gather all of that information and data. And there's been a lot of surveys that have been put out, and everybody's like, well, why do I need to do it for this organization? Why do I need to do it for this organization? And so a lot of people get confused, like, why are they all asking? And so I just wanted to, the reason why I'm asking you is because those surveys, how are they going to benefit moving forward? What is the purpose of those surveys? Can you just give us a little bit more detail so people understand why responses are so important?
So great. So great. We all want to know what you're up to. Most importantly, where do you get your information? Do you just go right to the internet to get your information? Do you rely on getting your information from your neighbor? Like there's such a broad spectrum of where you get your information. And so we want to dial in the user info as far as if you were a library user prior to the fire and prior to COVID, like how many times a week were you coming in or month? What services were you using? Were you coming to programs? Were you coming just to get materials? Were you meeting friends? You know, we want to dissect some of those layers so that a new facility can be outfitted with amenities that speak to this response, right? And so that's why it's so important to get a cross sector of feedback from the community. We want to know how old you are. We want to know how many members in your household have a library card. And we also want to hear from the non-user. If you were not using the library prior to the fire and prior to COVID, where were you getting your information? Where were you getting your resources? Did you have subscriptions to Amazon? Did your neighbor give you their mystery club books that they no longer needed? You know, it was something to that effect. And so we really want to dial that in. We did a needs assessment in 2009 or 2009. We did a needs assessment. And so we did hear back from the community with similar questions. We are revamping the survey to just really dial in what is currently going on. How has COVID affected your connection to services and resources, right? Because some people who are in their 50s to 60s have subscribed to Instacart because they didn't want to go to the grocery store to pick up groceries because they were afraid of contracting COVID. And so we know the marketplace has changed drastically because of COVID. And so we want to know, is that going to affect your use of public service such as a library? And if it's just a temporary gig, like that you had to do that out of necessity to subscribe to these things, and that your heart was really committed to bringing up your family in library, you know, using the resources, coming to programs, and that has just been put on pause for you. You know, we definitely want to hear from you. We had a lot of homeschoolers coming into the library. So I often, when we were shut, you know, when the fire happened and then COVID happened, and no library within Tulare County was offering any services. So all we had was our virtual services. So I'd be curious to hear from them, like, well, we did continue to use the library. We used your virtual services. Or when things opened up, we decided that we were going to do the pickup at Lindsay Library for the Tulare County Library System and use Lindsay Library, you know. So I think, again, this not to drag this conversation out about survey, but we really want to get that dialed in. Not only will the survey help in that capacity, but the focus groups, right? Well, we bring you all in, and we just have this dialogue with asking the questions, and then having you, give your input, such as, no, we just dialed out. We didn't subscribe to anything because we didn't have the resources to do that. And, so we just want the honest truth from our community, in that respect. And then of course, there's always a spot for other comments. So,
yeah, the unknown, when you get into those conversations.
I mean, then sometimes it's just that factor. If you've traveled outside of our community and you've been to a location and you're like, oh, that would be so good at Porterville, and oh, could the library do that, right? And so I think that those conversations will also happen as well. And so definitely we have a lot of work to do still, but we're definitely relying on the community's input on this. Again, like I said, major project for our community. So
and so now that we have that explanation on what kind of information you're going to be asking, like I'm already involved in this. The reason why, and I just want people to know from a grant writer's perspective, when we get this information back, now we have proof of a need. So next time the library has an opportunity to apply for grants, now they have written factual information that they can say, okay, we didn't have this before, but our people really need this. And we have that concrete information to move forward. So regardless if you used it before, if you didn't use it during COVID, if you plan on using it in the future, any of these services that Vicky just mentioned, it's vital for the library and any really government, even in my profession, as a grant writer, to have that information in writing, because if you don't have it, you don't get the funding for it. And if we want it here in Porterville, we have to use our voice. So I wanted to put that out there so people understand that, yes, you're asking that information, but it's not just to have that information. It's so we can use it to get more for our community. So I just wanted to put that out there a little bit, and so people understand like the true value of a well-written survey when we're trying to use that information.
Yes, no, thank you. Like you said, our voices need to be heard. And so it's very important to put yourself, dedicate a little bit of time to take a 5-minute survey,
Right.
I have to say COVID has slowed things down enough to where, even when you get your little receipts and it says take the survey, like I feel like I've been doing that a little bit more because COVID has given me a little bit more time to do that. And I'm more of the customer service and kind of deals. So I definitely always like to compliment. I do it verbally to the cashier or to the automate. When you're talking to a toll-free number call center, on giving those compliments out. I feel like we run a little short on the compliments, and we always hear the bad stuff or the angry stuff, and so definitely have made an effort the last like 5 years to put effort there, like, hey, I really liked how you handled that request that I had, and thank you so much. So again, just taking a little bit of time to spread the kindness, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to, spread the kindness.
Yes. And you never know what difference you're going to make. And my friends and I were out to dinner once, and I asked the waiter for his name. And and they go, it doesn't make a difference. And I said, yes, it does. Getting to know them, nobody else in this whole restaurant really cares. But now that waiter knows that I have invested just 1 minute into asking his name.
Right.
And yes. After that, because I remember what it was like, I bartended in high school. Yes. I'm not in high school, in college.
It's okay. I love it.
but I worked in retail in high school and I bartended in college, and having those people that just stopped a second and said, hey, great job, that means the
Yes.
world to that person, because
Right.
you don't know what kind of day they're going through. And like you
Yes.
said, you get a whole bunch of negative ninny muggins, and then you
Right.
get one person who's like, hey, have a beautiful day. And that
Right.
just makes a whole lot of difference. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
totally
You
sidetracked,
know,
but
yes,
um
my that's okay, but I think we should all take notice. My daughter is 9 years old. She'll be 10 next week, and she loves Burger King cheeseburgers. And so at Burger King, they have a little sign that says, "Be kind." Kind of be kind. I wish I could do a better job articulating it. That the people serving you, this may be their first job, and I think we forget where we first started and how uncomfortable we felt providing a service to somebody we weren't sure if they were accepting of it or happy about it. And like that whole transaction that you get off the ground doing when you're adulting, I think we forget like when we first started. And so I love they have a sign hanging in their little drive-through window that says, "Hey, we just like you to know that," like kind of like a before you get angry, please consider this. That's kind of the way I read it. And so I really like that. Instead of us thinking, wow, the job market, they're just not hiring qualified people. Well, sometimes it just takes just a little bit of training and again, this feedback that we give them about, again, either good service or bad service. It's about how you deliver that message. And I definitely think being a public servant for over 25 years has helped me kind of balance that out. So just really take action, everyone who's listening today, and take those into account and be patient and be responsive in how you do get feedback. So
right.
okay.
That's a good long explanation of a survey.
I know, I love it. I love it. So
Fantastic.
we're doing great on time. I just want to tell you about something that we just started April 1st. It's grab and go book service. We knew long ago our community was starved to put their hands on book materials, right? Get a pile of books. We knew our public was starved for that. So we were able, City Council has approved for us to do a grab and go book service in Centennial Park. And so we started April 1st. We run the program on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So from 11 to 3 o'clock, you can make an appointment on our Sign Up Genius. Just go to our website, www.portervillelibrary.org, and it has materials for children, for teens, and for adults. The only materials that we do not have available are books in Spanish at this time, and we do not have large print materials. So hopefully you'll come and find something you need. I took my daughter that first weekend. You do not need a library card. You do not need to return the books. You do not, you can take as many as you can carry. There's no limit. And every family can make a 15-minute appointment to come and preview the books that we have out. And you can make multiple appointments. If you want to come on a Saturday and then you want to come back on a Tuesday, you can certainly do that through the Sign Up Genius there. We will take, if you walk up and you don't make an appointment, you're just downtown paying your water bill or something, just pop over and ask if you can get in. And typically, like, it took my daughter maybe 6 minutes to find what she wanted, but we had a 15-minute slot. So typically you wouldn't have to wait maybe but 5, maybe 10 minutes to get in there. So even if you don't make an appointment, it's not entirely necessary. We do ask to practice, COVID safety measures like wear a mask. As you touch the books, if you're not taking it, we have a box underneath the table for you to put that book under during this particular time. And again, as things open up, we hope to offer this. They'll open up and then it'll heat up here. So we will probably change the program when it starts to get hot, as far as what times you can come over to get materials. But again, like I said, you don't need a library card. You can take as many materials as you would like. and you don't have to bring them back. So excuse me. So again, we just launched that April 1st, so we're very excited about that. Now,
And what days
specifically,
again? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 11 to 3 o'clock.
Okay, so okay, all right. I just wanted to ask one more
And-
time, so just in case people didn't catch it the first time, there you guys have it now. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And so this week coming up, Dia de los Niños is coming up. So during the book grab and go program, if you have a scheduled appointment or you're up on one of those days, you will get a Dia de los Niños activity kit to take home with you. Yeah. So come on by this week, make your appointment today. Come by to, well, we won't have the kits today, but next week, right? Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday, or Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays next week, you can get a little activity kit. And then also on the horizon, because it's almost May the 4th be with you day. And if you know, and if you are Star Wars, if you're a Star Wars follower, you know that we, the library, we're also Star Wars followers as well. And we would do a big event at the Central Library for May the 4th be with you. And so staff is, you know, we are all missing these activities. So staff is also going to prepare an activity kit the following week for May the 4th be with you. Okay, so stay tuned for that. We will always do these special announcements on our Facebook page. So, you know, please follow us on Facebook or Instagram as well. And then you'll be dialed into all these special things coming up.
So does this give us permission to wear stormtrooper masks?
You can, yes. Or if you happen to, we did a good job giving out t-shirts one year, and so I see those out in the community, and I'm like, oh, there's a library shirt. Or my daughter wore her Yoda shirt to school the other day, and I was like, oh, that wasn't from our 2019 program. That was like from our 2017 program. You know, like your mind starts to go back into these lovely memories that we have and that we've all built together, you know, using the library. So I love that. I love that about my staff's planning on, again, helping you make memories with your loved ones, really, I mean, to be honest. And so, yeah. So I do appreciate their hard effort that they put into the planning in these particular matters. So
that's exciting news.
Yeah. So Nicole, we're doing good on time. So I just wanted to remind the community that we do have a lot of virtual resources available online for you. And you can, how do I want to say this? If you can't find your library card, you can always call us at 784-0177. We will get you the information you need. Some of the online resources ask for your barcode number and your PIN number. If you're new to library services and you're without a library card, you can actually apply for an e-card, and the e-card will give you access to those resources. And so you can apply for that at our www.portervillelibrary.org. And so there's just a lot of information on there that can help you reach your goals. If you're doing something academically, we have online homework help that's catered towards K through first year in college. Like it has a calculus help. It's one-on-one tutoring virtually from 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, and it's available in English and Spanish should you need that.
That is fantastic.
We've had this resource for we've had it, I think, since I've been the city librarian, so over 13 years. The product is great. One of the things parents might think about is using the skill building component. Skill building component is available all hours of the day. It's not that one-on-one tutoring need, but the skill building could really help if your child is struggling like with algebra, or even again, lesser grades, maybe even sight words or something. And so again, that skill building component could be very beneficial to help your child during the summer stay engaged. I know the kids just want to dial out and just have some time off. And so, but if parents want to maybe incentivize the use of that skill building, then to help their children succeed in school, that would be very helpful. We did add some new and exciting product. We received a state library grant of $30,000 right after the fire. And so we were able to just recently start a contract with Hoopla. Hoopla is a digital platform that provides over 800,000 titles in various formats, from audiobook material to videos, popular videos that you can download and watch and stream from home, and music. So you can utilize Hoopla again by going to our website with your library card or your e-card. And then we just also added Flipster. Flipster is a digital platform for magazine and some newspapers. And so Flipster is also provides, we have some English titles and we have a couple of Spanish magazine titles as well. But also too, I was really impressed. They have like a coloring book option where you can, it's a coloring book. So you might want to check that out. Again, if you're missing us and some activities that you used to do in the library, or you're just looking for something to read while you're at the doctor's office and you don't want to touch their magazines, then this is the way you can do it on your own through internet access. So hopefully you'll get plugged into some of the resources we have available there for you to utilize. I think that covers most of everything that I wanted to go through. I did want to remind you that we do have virtual story time every Tuesday on Facebook Live. And then it does go into video. So you could, if you're not available at the time slots, English is at 10, Spanish is at 11. And if you're not able to watch during that live time, it does get video archived that you can watch later at bedtime, even as your bedtime stories. So I highly recommend that you check out Miss Anna Marie's story time. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have for me, audience.
So I just wanted to share something before we start that really quick. So okay. My mom had this great friend named Chris, and has this great friend named Chris. She's also my friend, but I never really knew how to read. But I could read, but content-wise and studying-wise, I didn't have that capacity. And she taught me how to read. Like a lot of years went by in education where everybody just thought I was like super lazy, and I was like, no, it didn't grab my attention. And this Christine, she was a librarian, is a librarian. She's been her area librarian for, I don't know, like 20 years now. But it took that one person to teach me that one skill, that no, Nicole, you're not slow, you're not dumb, you're not lazy. You just don't read like the rest of the people. So this is how we do read. And I just want to reiterate the importance of those skills, because it doesn't have to be by subject. It just has to be a certain formation, whatever works for your learning style. So if you're seeing that your child or your high school student like isn't grasping that specific subject, it very well could be a skill that they just haven't learned yet. And so those skill building availabilities is huge. And if I hadn't learned how to, I say how to read, I learned how to read when I was quite young, but grab that content and understand what that writer was trying to give me. I didn't learn that until years passed, and then I was hooked on books for the rest of my life. But up until then, I was just like, so it's really important to notice that it might not just be a subject, but it might be that skill, and it might take that one person, even if it's 30 minutes, to be like, oh, okay, maybe you're just having to backtrack a little bit and take yourself out of that pressurized situation of I'm not doing good in school to, hey, like I can learn this and I can take this and apply this to all my classes. So I just, I wanted to put that out there, that
Right.
a lot of people don't really understand that. Go ahead.
I love that. I love the whole story, and I love the explanation. I was going to say one of the other features on Homework Help, Help Now, is because the product is called Help Now, is that if you're doing essays already in your maybe you're in 5th grade or 6th grade or older grade, it has a essay component or even a writing module. Let's say your teacher says you have a 5-paragraph essay due on Friday. It's not good for the procrastinator, let me tell you this, but the feature is good for the non-procrastinator who maybe writes it up by Wednesday and uploads it to the tutor available on Homework Help or Help Now. And then they will critique it. They will help you become a better writer and get you going in that direction. And so I definitely think that little extra time helps, you know, like you said, just helps mold you into that use of down the road as well. So a lot of, again, it's got a lot of bells and whistles. There's also another one called Learning Express that we subscribe to that has a module like that as well, but it also has a lot of test prep for SAT, for a lot of different tests that you could possibly imagine. It's got quite the catalog. So you might also want to look at that one as well if you're headed somewhere in the next couple of years and you just want to get some practice under your belt. So
question for you, is there somebody there that helps you, or at the library, that can help you go through all of these options? I know a lot of times going on a website can get a little overwhelming because you're like, okay, where do I go? Is there somebody that would help them walk through and find out that like what they specifically need help with?
yeah, so if right now you find yourself in a need and you want to maneuver or need some extra, I don't want to even use the word tutoring, but guidance, and using Help Now, getting an account started, just call our main library number 784-0177. And definitely right now we can connect you to somebody who could talk you through the guide you through the process, right? How to set up your account, how to kind of look for things, how to do the skill building, how to do the essay, and those particulars. But a lot of the vendors provide a little tutorial as well on their platform. So then you could also launch that as well. But, you know, certainly call us with any questions you may have as you start to explore the various amenities that are there. Even for the educator, if you're a teacher, there's a lot of online resources that are available that help you pull together the themes. If you're early education, you're doing a thematic curriculum, then again, if there was something that you're searching for or you want to freshen up, we have platforms that can help you do that. So definitely want to engage also the educator as well.
Yeah, that is a huge resource. And, you know, as a teacher, you're always trying to figure out different ways to help your students. And sometimes they, you know, there was me as a student. I was a horrible student. I say that because I only paid attention when I started paying for it. And then and then I was a great student. My poor mother and teachers.
I kind of feel the same way, Nicole, as that description. I can relate. I can definitely relate to that.
Isn't that so funny? My parents were like, "How did you like to this?" Because I did not display this kind of energy in my youth. Now that I'm an adult, I'm just like and I just want to learn about everything. But I didn't. When we were younger, we didn't have this much at our fingertips. And so it's like, right. I think I'm kind of glad that it wasn't there when I was younger, because I got to be a little bit more wholesome and learn about myself. And now there's all of this information that's readily available. We do have a couple of questions in here. Mr. Rice is a frequent What's Brewing watcher.
I know him.
Just a little bit.
Yes, I think I know Mr. J, right? Just a little bit.
Yeah, he wants to know, when the library is built, will there be an Instacart type book service for seniors and those who can't go in person?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are talking about that with our consultants who are doing the needs assessment, is that we do know that the mindset and use of services has changed to Grubhub and Instacart. And so what our consultant was saying is that we're pretty sure curbside service is going to be a definite thing going forward. And so definitely looking into the possibility of doing that book drop door-to-door service as well. I mean, we were just talking about, again, in 5 years from now, will we be using drones to take materials to you, right? You know, I mean, it could happen. I mean, we really need to, our vision is not like this right now. Our vision is like that, right? Because how do you plan for, right? How do you plan for the next 20 to 30 years of public library services? And so we are looking into those layers. And so definitely great question, Mr. Rice.
Yeah, I kind of really like that. It makes me want to be a senior citizen.
Well, I can tell you, my eldest library patron, Tony, he's going to be 92 in June. And, oh, I'm sorry, he's going to be 93 in June. Oh my goodness. He's going to be 93 in June. Tony, I met Tony in 1995. He would come in the library almost every day to read the newspapers and magazines. He was a regular fixture. And so I was able to connect with Tony right after the fire. He still drives, by the way. He's still mobile. He still drives. He's very healthy. And I was able to connect with him after the fire. And he's actually been over here to the Adult Learning Center a couple of times during the pandemic. And so I keep thinking about that spot where Mr. Tony's going to be someday sitting down reading the paper or our Times magazine. I don't know if I could force him to be a digital reader. I really don't. And so, but we love Tony. Tony, again, like I said, was that fixture in our library environment that we sure do miss. And we miss a lot of other, we just miss you all greatly. I mean, like I can't say enough about that. And so we can't wait to connect with you. The grab and go is helping kind of ease that connection a little bit, but it's definitely not what it used to be, so to speak. And so we can't wait to get back to some type of regular service.
Yeah, I think the way that I envision it, if I could, is just having like an outdoor reading space. But that's just, so I grew up, the latter part of my years of growing up in Huntington Beach, and our library have you been to that library? I love that library.
Garden. Yeah, it has a beautiful garden.
Yeah, inside too, garden. On the bottom floor. And
yes, yeah, the atrium, yes.
Yeah, so you can listen to water and read at the same time. And that to me has always been so soothing, to have that sound in the background, because it echoes throughout. And the floors, they're not clear, but they're that aggregated steel or whatever, so you can see down all the way through like three different levels, and so that sound just amplifies up, and it's absolutely wonderful. But to have an outdoor space, even now, before the library gets there, to where it needs to be, just to be out there at the park and grab a book and be around, not around, but, you know, have like-minded individuals around you with that same interest is super compelling to me. So I'll have to take Midge and go over there and check that out. That sounds fun.
She would love some of the variety that's out there.
Yeah, she's
going to be in fifth grade, right? She's going into 5th grade next year.
Yeah, my baby.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, Noah's leaving in the fall, probably, for the Navy, and and then it's just going to be me and Midge. So we have a question come in from Mr. Rice said thank you. He's 52, and I'm only relaying that age because he wrote it down in there. So he wants to know, he wanted to know for future services, because technically he's almost a senior.
Yes, almost.
Almost a senior. Patty, one of our fantastic community leaders, thank you so much for watching. And she just said, just a thought, has there been any consideration of bringing back some of the club programs, such as Lego night, crocheting, etc., even if it is virtually?
Oh, that's a great question. So staff capacity wise, it's been a little difficult to extend staff that way, but definitely would be interested in maybe doing something or piloting something during the summertime, right? When we can kind of focus in on those things. So staff, we are doing a virtual book club right now. We just did book, we're getting ready to do book number 1, the talk on May 6th, and we'll be starting the second book right away as well. It is limited to about 15 members of the community that can participate. It is virtual. Of course, they have to have access to Zoom. And so that just was kicked off recently. But a great idea, great idea. I would love if at any time these wonderful ideas pop into your head, if you'll just send us a Facebook message on our library Facebook, and then we will see what we can get programmed. Definitely, like the crochet club was pretty popular. That was actually generated by just a volunteer in the community doing it, and we just provided the space. But Lego club, I know, is near and dear to the hearts of children, especially the competitions, and so definitely we can explore those particular activities. So great question, Patty. Thank you so much.
Okay, and that was going to be my next question to you, was volunteer wise, do you guys have volunteers working with you yet? Would it say I wanted to start I don't even know what kind of club I would start. But if I wanted to start a club and I wanted to use the library as a resource or to pull in people to participate, would you guys allow that, like for a volunteer to come in and do that thing? Because you said the crocheting happened before, right, but are you still allowing volunteers to do that type of stuff?
At this time, we're not like having any volunteers commingle yet with staff members, and so in that regard, not at this moment.
Okay.
But if you have an interest in something you want to lead up, and if you want to message us on Facebook, I look at the messages on Facebook. My staff does as well, and they bring those messages forward. I definitely think that if you have that civic minded heart and you want to do things like that, like I don't want to stop you from doing it, but we have to time it appropriately, right?
Right.
And so I would love to hear from you civic minded individuals who are just dying to engage in something virtual. And certainly we can explore the possibility, again, of providing you the platform to do it, and get that push out to the audience. And so I would love to hear from all of you. And so that's a great question. One of the things that we did love doing over the last several years at least is work with student interns and provide internship opportunities for them during the summer. In fact, some of those high school interns ended up being some of our part-time employees, and so we miss that. We do miss that engagement. However, we're not able to do that just yet, and because of COVID guidelines, and so we're not too sure what the city will be able to do in that regard going forward with COVID measures and guidelines that we need to ask our volunteers is, do they need to sign a disclaimer? When you come to the grab and go, by the way, you do have to sign a little waiver for us, and it's really short and sweet, information again about the COVID. And so definitely some things to think about. But yeah, we do miss our student interns. We've had some elderly, again, friends of the library members who want to help at the grab and go and just be a volunteer doing something to help us. And so we've had to say no at this time. However, we are hopeful that perhaps by the middle of June, early part of July, we'll be in a whole different realm of dealing with things. So, but that's a great question.
Well, maybe we can have you all come back on and explore volunteer opportunities and give us an update with all of your
Yeah.
programs. I'm super excited for the grab. I should have been taking notes, but I did.
Come over. Yeah, stop by today. Come by today. Just
Oh
pop
yes.
over. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
pop over. Just,
Yeah, I will
let
do
us
that.
know that you didn't make an appointment and that we were chatting it up this morning over coffee and
Yeah. Oh
friends.
my gosh.
And
I didn't even introduce what's brewing. Oh, I'm a terrible host. I was just like so excited for the library. I'm like, okay, let's go.
we were
Yes,
excited
everybody.
too.
This is What's Brewing, hosted by Wyld Wynd. And yep, there we go. Cheers. The reason why I started What's Brewing in the first place was because, especially through COVID, we don't have the opportunity to go to our neighbor's house. And I remember, I don't know if you did this, Vicky, but when you were growing up, Saturday mornings were like everybody got up, they all chatted it up while everybody was doing yard work, and you just had that great sense of neighborhood. And I remember
It's true.
my Oma and her friends, Saturday mornings we used to go garage sailing in a Volkswagen bus. And it was just such great time, and there's no arguments, and everybody was just like,
Yes.
it was just great conversation being had by friends.
Right.
And then on another note, my Opa, he was always he was a greenskeeper, like a marshal at a golf course. And so when I lived with him, he would go out every morning really early, even though he didn't have to work until a certain time. And they just had great conversation in the clubhouse, and listening to them having those conversations about any subject, and no argument, understanding, respecting, all of that. We've lost that. I feel like it's such a part of our past, and I really
Yes.
wanted to bring that current.
Yeah.
So having our community pillars on What's Brewing, and letting people get a more personal dose of us, because we're
Yes.
so often
Right.
out there.
We're real people, we're real
Yes.
people.
Yeah. And when we're out there doing events, or we're out there working, and we don't get the opportunity a lot of the time to sit down and talk to our people. And
Yes.
our people don't get to know us as human beings. So that was the whole point of What's Brewing, is just to let everybody have a more personal dose of us, and our community leaders, so they can,
Right.
like you said, there's a lot of work that goes into rebuilding this library, and we don't just want to do a partial library. We want to do like the best thing we possibly can, that's going to serve our people the best way we possibly can. And that takes a lot of funding and time and contracting, and figuring out like how we want to make this happen. So I guarantee everybody, I will promise you, because Vicky is in charge, she is leading the way. Ooh, Jay, I love that idea. We should do that. Sorry, Vicky. Jay
What?
said we should have a library golf tournament fundraiser called the
Yes.
Drive to Read. I
Oh,
am 120% on board with that. Yes.
Jay's a genius. What can I say?
Yes.
Jay's a genius.
I think Jay and I have a future have a future project ahead of us. But that is beautiful news. We are both golfers. Love it. Love it. Love it. Vicky, because I said we were going to keep this under an hour.
I know.
Did not happen. And you were very mindful of time, and I thank you and I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you feel needs to be shared before we leave today?
No, I mean, just please, if you're listening today or later, right? Because this is going to be published. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay tuned to activities that are happening, going on, especially these free activity kits for your families. We definitely want to put them in your hands. And then also coming up in the future, we hope to partner with one of the school districts for for our summer lunch program that the state library funds us for, where we give away free new books to you. So we want to again make sure that you stay in tune, because gosh, can you believe school's going to be out in just a few weeks? I mean, we want you to stay informed as best possible, and Facebook and Instagram give us that instant communication, as well as, you know, we do take out ads in the newspaper as well for new products or promotional things that are going on. So we do stay connected with the local paper as well. But again, on that instant news feed there, you could follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So I thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to come back and show you the little vehicle when it's ready. And then also, again, in the future, talk to you about volunteer opportunities. So definitely, Nicole, I feel completely blessed to be an invited guest today. And thank you for letting me share about myself and the library. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. Of course, you will hear back. Definitely, most definitely from me, and from Vicky and Miss Penny. Right? Miss Penny. Who's your teacher? Your ESL teacher. Did I say Miss Penny? What's her name?
Oh, Miss Polly.
Polly. Ah, okay.
Polly.
I was thinking of Aunt Penny's pasta. Polly. And we will make sure that you guys get your information. If you go on to the Porterville Facebook page, I put all of those links and the phone numbers in the feed, in the phone number in the feed. And if you just click like and follow on their Facebook page, every time they post something, it'll come up in your announcements in your feed. So that way you will get that information right away when it comes out. That way you can say, hey, I have this, and you will always get those notifications. So, all right, everybody, I'm done talking with my hands. I'm going to go out and pull some weeds today, and you have a great, and go get some books.
Yes. Don't forget.
No.
Thank you, What's Brewing. I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.